Today's tale is a little different from the rest, but let's start by introducing our little Diabloceratops. We started life in the harsh lands of the South Plains. Our first objective, to reach the sanctuary and begin growing as quickly as possible. You are a rare breed, little man. You don't see many trios these days. It was really important that I went from cover to cover. If I got spotted by almost anything, it could be game over before we've even started. All the rocks and all the bushes. Sneaky, sneaky. We had somehow made it to the sanctuary and we began growing, eating the special bright red plants that give me all three of my diets. I will admit, one thing I didn't expect to see here was AI deer in the sanctuary, on this particular server. For those that don't know, I'm eating little stones that should hopefully drain my hunger, creating more space for more dietary food. After rinsing and repeating a few times, I should have a pretty good growth rate on the go. Once I'd filled that little belly and I'd reached a certain growth rate where I could no longer go in the sanctuary, it was time to move on, but thankfully there were a couple of Diabloceratops nearby. And this is where we meet Noodle, our protagonist or hero of our prologue. Always really good to see another dibble, especially in an area where there's a lot of predators. A jump like that really hurts at this size, I'm not gonna lie. I need to stay away from all trees. You can always rely on trusty Noodle. Got a Noodle ball, chase him away. Danger was just about everywhere, but we still needed to drink, and so under the guidance of Noodle Bowl, we went up to the bottom of the South Plains River. There's just something about the fact that that's just 3 players up there, just exploring the map, that's just kind of cool. It never really gets old. Now, me and Noodle Bowl, we were headed to the West Rail Pond. However, on our way, we bumped into some trouble. Now, these guys are absolutely going to fancy their chances. There's a good 4 of them, I think. And they're definitely going to try and get me, but they'll take either. I think I'm going to be the target here. Noodle is doing the best he can to defend me. Valiantly, I should say. Even a dibble my size does a fair bit of damage. Not loads, but enough to keep them on their toes. Now these carnos were working well as a group, making sure that they turned us around so that somebody else could come in from behind and attack. I'm I'm making a dash for the water. I want to put my back against something so that I can at least see them coming. I kind of feel like the last place I want to be is in the open. No, I didn't actually see that stego there, but I also didn't really want to bring him into the battle. It's not his fight. Eventually, with the bleed adding up, it was time to find the mudpool. The mudpool would offer a little bit of protection as other dinosaurs can't sprint through it, so it would slow them down. And also, I can wallow if I need to and clot any bleeds. Ah, nice. Noodle's got himself the small one. As much as this mudpool had its benefits, it did mean that we can't actually go anywhere. We are now surrounded and essentially stuck in the mud. One more dead. One more is still something. I have a feeling the little ones keep spawning back in, joining back in the fight again. For now, we had survived. The carnos didn't want to enter the mudpool and we didn't want to leave. However, in an area so heavily dominated by carnivores, we couldn't just sit around and wait. We needed water. Situation's getting a little worse. Getting thirsty. We'd worked out a plan to go to the steep side of the pond, so at least making charges from the carnos a little bit more risky for them. We waited until they made a move, and then we made our move. Oh, crikey, okay, they're right there drinking. We gotta just go. We have to go. Noodle's doing everything he can. I don't know if there's gonna be much he can do for me here. So we'd at least made it into an area where we could get a drink, but we were far from safe. That one hurt. That at least hurt his feelings. Maybe a bit of health. In this situation, it's really just going to be who loses someone first. I imagine if I die, they'll probably stop the hunt, and I imagine if we can take one of them out, it might also deter them from carrying on. But until then, someone's got to die. I made my move, but I didn't realize I was being followed. Noodle did get a little bit of revenge. He took one out as well, but unfortunately, that was it for me. Now you're probably wondering what is happening. Why am I dead and we're only 10 minutes in? Well, seeing how populated the area was by an array of carnivores, I wanted to give it another go. I wanted to see if this area is really as dangerous as it looks for growing a herbivore. There are other hotspots on the map, but they're usually populated with other herbivores, whereas West Rail appeared to be almost primarily carnivores. And so I wanted to see if I could take a dibble there again and grow on my own. So we're gonna rinse and repeat the same as we did before, only we don't have sanctuary food. We have normal food, but we have diets. That's a Dilo. We're kind of looking at each other, and I don't think he's seen me. If I don't move, he won't know. Okay, well, that was close. Okay, so I'd grown until I needed water. Well, it was time for water. And where better than West Rail Pond, the place that claims so many herbivore lives. There are already quite a few carnos. I'm not big enough for this. We're going to have to sneak down. And sneak down is what we did. One bush at a time, checking to see if anyone was watching. That noise is reverberating through my little dibble drums. There's carnivores everywhere. It wasn't even 30 seconds before we already had a Serato. I was now forced to defend myself. I had no noodle bowl, and I was going to have to learn how to fight quickly. My god, I can already hear Dilos. Okay, I think he's actually done. I don't think he realizes he has me on like one hit away from death. For now, I had survived a brush with the Grim Reaper. Okay, there's actually another herbivore here. I'm gonna go and say hello, I think. Get a little drink before we go up. Because I honestly have no idea when I'm going to get to drink again. There could be a crocodile, there could be Ceratos, Carnos, Dinos. Now when I went up to say hello to this stag, he just kind of wanted to be left alone. And to be honest, I respect it. He could have probably killed me using his tail, but he gave me a bonk on the nose and sent me on my way. However, I had barely even started healing before a couple of Carnos had seen the opportunity to attack an already damaged Dibble. Yeah, this is exactly why I came here. For science, and yeah, it's bad. This is not a great place for a young Dibble. It's only a matter of time before they come in to find me. Yeah, there he is. Let's go. We've got to stand up and hold our ground now. If there was anything I'd taken away from my fight with Noodle earlier, it's that having my back to water was actually helpful. Yeah, this will be you next. Alright, we got one. It's small, but it sends a message. That was a couple of big hits. He's got to be hurt. Oh, and he's taking one straight on the noggin. These guys are hurting. They have to be hurting. And hurting they were. I'd bought myself some time. They didn't pursue, and I could go off and do a little bit of healing of my own. I'm at that point where I kind of have to act like I'm fine, you know? Chase them down. No signs of weakness and all that. Okay, I think I bought myself some healing time. Oh, he's still interested. Okay. I had only spent a short amount of time in the bushes, doing a bit of healing, and I decided to get a drink when once again I'd be confronted by my next challenge. This place is absolutely relentless. god, that scared me. Didn't see him coming. I heard something, I didn't see him. It turns out this Serato had been watching me for a while. And what better target than an already hurt Dibble? You see, I was showing scars, and it was inviting hungry occupants around the pond. I am coming in. Be careful, and I'm bleeding. Back to the mud pool. And once again, just like with the Carnos earlier, this became a waiting game. He had a bit of a fright there. I think the quick animation made him very quickly stop that charge. The Serato went to hide in some bushes, but I knew where he went, so I took the opportunity to quickly make a run for myself. Here he comes. Does he know I'm here? No, he doesn't know. And a hit on the head as well. That hurt. That had to hurt there. And another one. That was huge. That was a big ambush. I did not expect that. I clearly hurt him, and it was at this point we both took the opportunity to disengage and go our separate ways. Winning and losing isn't always life and death. Sometimes just showing your hunter that you're more trouble than it's worth can be enough. No way is there another Carno. I don't think he knows I'm here. Nope, he had no idea. He just stumbled into a bush that had 4 horns. I think he was just as surprised as I was. It was back to consuming the various fruits and fibres the jungle had to offer. I needed to regain some strength before I emerge at the pond again. I mean, this guy is more annoying than anything else. He's not doing a huge amount of damage, but I don't really want him on me. He's causing bleed. The small raptor was a pain, but he was the least of my troubles. He must be using more stamina than it's even worth attacking me for. the sun started to set on another day. Honestly, it had been quite successful. We've had a few successful fights and battles, and I think we've come out pretty good. However, it's not what I can see that scares me, it's what I can't see. And once the sun had been drowned out against the horizon and the darkness set in, the night would bring the very definition of terror. I can hear rustling in the bushes. Something's out there. Hang on, I think I'm being attacked. Am I being attacked? I knew that sound all too well. And as silhouettes slipped from bush to bush against the horizon, I knew I was in trouble. That is now two that I've seen. This is so dark as well. And bearing in mind when you guys watch this, I'll probably have brightened it up for you as well a little bit. This is incredibly dark. These guys were masked in the cloak of darkness. They slipped from bush to bush, with me only being able to catch a glimpse as they silhouetted against the lightning. Okay, yeah, there's actually at least three now. And that bite was when the real trouble started. The panic starts to set in as you no longer know what's real and what's actually just the venom coursing through your veins, creating illusions. I tried to head to where I thought the mud pond was, but obviously because of the darkness, I couldn't really see where I was going. Now it was at this point, unfortunately, that I actually started taking damage due to a bug that is invisible clones. So I couldn't even attack them if I wanted to, so I didn't actually know where the clones were. As the black walls closed in all around me, they moved in for the final bite.